Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is a little show we call Weeknights.
Give me the weeknight. Give me just 5 nights. I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to go right now. We could go 4 nights, but we'll do 5 nights. I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to go right now.
How long he was cooking that one up?
On the fly.
On the fly. Look at that. That's why you are the real king of R&B.
I've been telling them and they won't listen. Okay? But you know the truth. Thank you, co-host.
No problem, Bob. I am JD, aka He Who Pods, aka Rearview Mirror. Once again,
I'm Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B. You heard it here first. I mean, where else would you? Where else
I
would
don't
you?
want to say that now, so I don't know you here in a second. But
Listen, it's going to catch on, and when it catches on, it'll be on.
well, we're back after a teeny tiny break. And we have an album review for y'all. Review. Review. Review.
Review.
Review. We have an album review for you. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and
And
you.
I must say, we didn't know whose album we were listening to. We thought we did. We thought we knew whose album we were listening
Right.
to.
Because first we just like, oh, Anderson.Paak dropped a new album. Let's listen to the new Anderson.Paak album. Then
Right.
it was like, who are all these people on Anderson.Paak's album? What is going on?
Right. So apparently he's a part of a group, yet another one. It's called
Another
No
one.
It's called NxWorries. It's him and Knowledge. Um I assume you say it like that, like no worries. It's
I
NX
think so too.
worries. So you know. Um yeah, so they put out an album. It's called
Why, Lord?
Why Lord?
Question
Because
mark.
yes, and this is a part two.
Yep.
Because
The
the
follow up to Yes,
Yes
Lord.
Lord. I didn't listen to Yes Lord. I just want
I
to
was about
start
to
saying
say, I'm going to let y'all know I did not listen to Yes, Lord.
in the beginning of the album, they do reference Yes Lord. Like the moment it starts, they acknowledge that, hey, there was something that came before this.
Just smart.
Yeah, I mean, and I said, oh man, do I need to go back? And then I said, well, I don't have time to go back. So I'm just going to, here is where I am and here is where I
Only
will.
one way to go.
Exactly. So, yeah. Um, Starts off with that, with Dave Chappelle.
Good old Dave.
You know, Dave giving some wisdom that he picked
Yes.
up along the way. That was
Yes,
cool.
Lord. Sorry. I couldn't help it.
No, it's fine. I mean, you let me tell you something about you. You love a good call and response.
Love a good. You guys see when I perform, you know what I mean? I'll be up there.
You love a good, like, yeah, Glow was made for you. Okay.
Yeah, glow.
So
Anyway,
it is no surprise that Yes Lord would be, something that you would latch on to because you love a good call and response.
I do. I really do.
You do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because God is good,
All the time.
and all the time.
God is good. Yes,
Anyway,
Lord. Yes, Lord. And this is why they stopped watching our stuff because we fool around too much.
let's get to
They'd
it.
be like, I clicked on an album review. Where is the album review?
It's coming. Anyway, so right, so it starts off with some Dave Chappelle, which is really interesting to me. Um, I always think it's interesting when artists use comedians on their records, it's a pretty common practice. It's not that unfamiliar to us. A lot of people have
No,
done
it's
it.
not. It's not common, but it's also not frequent that we get it. It's like somewhere in
Right.
the middle.
Somewhere in the middle, yeah. Um, you know, I'm thinking of like Seinfeld and Wale. Thinking of, I just had one in my head, and
Chris Rock was on Rick Ross album. Dave Chappelle was on T.I.'s album.
okay, so you have way more in your tool belt than I do. I wasn't even thinking of all of those, and the one that I had in my head, I had it just, it'll come back to me. But yeah, I always think that's an interesting thing. Um, a perspective you maybe didn't expect to hear from in that moment. So
Right.
it's kind of cool to me. I think it's an interesting thing to do.
Okay. Did you listen to more than track one?
Yes, yes, I did. I thought it was cool. I like. Obviously, when Anderson.Paak is involved, I assume that there's going to be something nostalgic about whatever he's doing. I feel like that's.
Why?
Isn't Anderson.Paak the same one that was? Am I mixing people up? Isn't he the one that is also a part of the group with Bruno Mars?
Yes, he is.
Right. So I feel like that's something he leans into, that sort of nostalgic vibe. Is that not the case? Am I misspeaking about him?
Um, I listen to Anderson.Paak, not every album, but no, he doesn't do that all the time. I think he's really good at. Excuse me. Silk Sonic is the group with Bruno Mars. Had to check
Silk
it because I
Sonic
couldn't remember. I
group.
couldn't remember. Too
Yeah.
many groups. Too many groups. Anderson.Paak is in too many groups. But um, we'll
Yep.
get to that in a minute. But
Yep. We will.
no, he does not always lean into the old school sound. What he does lean into is instrumentation, like actual instruments.
I was
That
gonna
I
say
will say.
that.
Yeah. Now, if you're gonna talk about instruments, yeah, if you're listening to Anderson.Paak, you are going to hear real instruments. You're gonna hear the synthesizer and the 808s, but you're gonna hear some real ass instruments in there.
Remember what I tried to teach y'all about the synthesizer?
They don't know what you're talking about because you
Anyway.
didn't know what you was talking.
Anyway, I was going to say that. I was walking around my apartment and I was listening to it, and I walked into the room at one point and I was like, I know when we do this review, instrumentation is going to come up. Like
Oh, it has to. Yeah, it has
I
to.
know when we do this review, my really technical co-host is going to be like, "Did you hear the strings? did,
Got to.
you, did you
Got
hear?"
to.
Yes, I did. That did jump out at me. I caught that. There is a lot. There are a lot of instruments. You could tell that there's a lot of intricacies to creating this music.
Absolutely.
Um, and I like that. I think it makes it more complex. But I do think that it had a nostalgic sound, some of it. There was one song, gosh, I can't remember the name of the song, but there was one song where it's so different listening to like being in the house and like playing something on the speakers versus like I don't know, having your headphones on and maybe having your device in your hand or whatever, because then you
Yep.
can see what song you're listening to. A lot of times when I'm like inside and just listening to it on the speakers, I miss that. um but there was one song that made me think of the OJs or like Lenny Williams, or it gave me that old school vibe, which I enjoyed. I think overall, and I'll let you go because I'm sure you have a lot to say, but I think overall,
Go in. Don't cut yourself short.
well, I'm not cutting myself short. I'm just, um, trying to, be mindful of time too. I think overall it was a really interesting album. I think it has a good sound. I liked the features. I didn't expect to hear Snoop on it. That was
Yeah.
very unexpected. All of a sudden, I was like, "Is that Snoop?"
So was D.O. Double Jizzle.
Yeah, Snoop was on it. Her made an appearance. Always love her.
Yes.
Um, there were other features that I cannot think of right now, but I thought the features were cool. I was into that. Again, I love her. I'm never gonna be mad at somebody doing a record with her. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting.
Okay. So the features were obviously Dave Chappelle, Thundercat, Her, Snoop Dogg, October London, Ray Khalil, Charlie Wilson, The Last Artful, Dodger, Earl Sweatshirt, and again, Ray Khalil.
Yeah, I thought the features were good. I didn't
They
have
were great.
problems with them.
The music is great. The instruments, the instrumentation, the production is great. This is a vibey project like Anderson.Paak. We know he can make,
Yeah.
and he can sing, he can rap. He does his thing, and he did his thing all over this project. I have one complaint, only one. I don't have a problem with the topics. I don't have a problem with the flows. I don't have a problem with the beats or the beat selection. It was smooth. If you just want to put it on and clean the house, you can. If you've got a friend over and y'all are just relaxing and kicking it, you can put this album on.
I was just gonna say that I feel like it's a nice, like, I'm laying on the couch with my honey kind of
Absolutely.
album.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. Now, my one complaint is these songs are short as hell.
Oh my gosh, there was one that was 1 minute and 43 seconds that said,
The last track
where's
is 25 seconds. I had to check. I thought I
it
did
was.
something wrong.
Yeah. Because
25 seconds.
same thing with me, because all of a sudden I heard Snow Allegra and I was like, is Snow on the album?
Nah, your app was just like, all right, that's done. Next,
And
let's play something else we like.
then I said,
Play some more vibes.
and then I was like, this is whoa. It's like,
Very
I
good.
know this song very well, actually.
Right.
The album is over.
I don't
It was kind of
understand
an
the
abrupt
short.
ending to me.
Yeah, like I don't like the short song thing. It really, really bothered me because there were a lot of songs that as soon as they started, they ended. Like as soon as I'm like, oh yeah, I like this. This
Yeah.
is cool. Oh, this is over. Oh, okay.
You're right.
At one point, I thought like because it was a clear change, I thought like they did the two songs on one track thing, that some people do, and I was like Big Mama, right? Lotto. We spoke about Lotto, Big Mama. That's a
Big
clear change.
Mama, Big Mama.
You good now?
Would you believe I haven't had coffee or alcohol today?
All right.
Just water.
Special water. Um,
Yeah.
I don't even know what I was saying.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought at one point like they did the two song one track thing because it was a clear change, but it was so abrupt that I'm like, what just is this the name? I had to look. I had to pull out my phone and look, and I'm like, wait, so a new song just started? These songs are like 1 minute and 19 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
fam, come on. Way too talented, way too vibey, way too good at what you do, both of you, because the beats were great. I will say Knxwledge clearly knows how Anderson.Paak likes to make music. It was a beautiful marriage hearing the two of them together. I will go back and listen to Yes Lord because I enjoyed this. Yeah, I thought this was great. My only complaint is that the songs are short. And I should have known too because I looked at the time and was like, but how did they do 19 tracks in 44 minutes? This is wow, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, 44 minutes, 18 seconds.
It should have been at least 55 to 60.
Come on, man. Or cut some of the songs out.
Yeah.
You know?
But yes,
But that's me being nitpicky, I will be honest, because plenty of people today in the streaming era love the shorter 90-second songs. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost an ad. It's like,
you know what I'm saying? There go you with your marketing shit.
there are ads longer than a trailer is longer than this.
Yeah, like come on.
Okay, the Gladiator trailer was what, 2 minutes and 45 seconds or something
It was
like
3 minutes and 11 seconds.
that. So I'm getting my trailers mixed up. I'm pretty sure we watched
Sorry,
a trailer that was that length recently. But
probably
anyway,
did.
so overall it was good, and yes, I agree. I will go back and I will listen to what came before because I'm curious about what that sounded like. This was really good, and like I said, I love the vibe of it. I love that it got a little nostalgic. It's like for someone like me who likes to go back in time a lot when it comes to music, it's nice to listen to music where it's new and I don't necessarily have to go all the way back. I can kind of just enjoy that same type of sound um, with something current. So that's what this felt like. So yeah,
Sweet. All right, well, there you go. That is our No Worries Why Lord review.
yes.
And speaking of Why Lord, um,
I
I've
know
got
it.
questions.
I don't have answers.
I have answers too, but I have questions. But let's start with what's going on. Let's give the people context. So right now, this moment while we're recording and all day, for matter of fact, probably more than 24 hours now, on Twitter/X, trending is Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Or whatever, Taylor Swift and Beyonce. I saw it as Beyonce and Taylor Swift. But
I don't read
they,
anything as Taylor Swift and Beyonce. I always read it as Beyonce and Taylor Swift.
well, I'm saying maybe someone else's app is showing it different because of their algorithm. But I
No.
saw it as alphabetical order. It was Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Now,
Oh no, I read it backwards on purpose.
you read it Swift, Taylor, and Beyonce?
No, I read Beyonce's name first on
I'm
purpose.
saying Beyonce's name was first on my
Oh,
app.
okay. Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm saying, but perhaps because of someone else's algorithm,
it
it
might
was
have slipped.
it might be swapskis, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So anywho, uh fans are calling for, demanding for Beyonce and Taylor Swift,
Mhm.
pausing for dramatic effect for those listening, not watching. And they are calling for them to have a fundraising event for, that's right, you guessed it, you probably didn't guess it. Newly announced new candidate for President Kamala Harris.
She is the front runner for the Democratic Party. She has not yet been.
Confirmed.
I
Chosen.
don't know. I don't know if that's the word, but the DNC has not happened yet. The DNC will happen over the next couple of weeks, and at that point, the front runner will be officially announced. They are all unofficial until they get to that point.
You are correct.
So, but obviously, we know this is the person. Let's back up a little because this wasn't the case the last time we recorded. So,
It was not on
yesterday.
Friday. Yes, just
We
yesterday,
are
actually.
we are recording this in real time. We are recording this on Monday. Yesterday it was Joe Budden. Joe Budden.
Nope. New Joe Budden.
Yesterday. That's because when I'm sitting here, that would be the that would be the name I would be using when
That
I'm
would be the
sitting.
Joe we usually talk about,
Right.
if we talk about one.
Right. So Joe Biden, President Joe Biden,
Conceded.
resigned. He resigned from his campaign um, to run as the incumbent against the Republican Party. So, and he in the same at the same time endorsed Kamala Harris as the front runner um, to basically take his spot as the the candidate. So here we are, 24 hours, a little bit over 24 hours later. Um,
And
and
Twitter
kind of
is calling for Beyonce and Taylor Swift to host a fundraising event for new president candidate Kamala Harris. My question is, why, Lord?
So here's my frustration.
Go ahead.
And I've said this
Go
before.
ahead.
I
I have to
don't.
talk with a country accent for the rest of the pod. I'm
You,
not.
you do your thing.
I'm not.
Here's my frustration.
Tell
I
them why
think.
you mad, son.
I
Tell them
think.
why you mad.
I think sometimes we rely too much on celebrities. I think we have faves and we have people that we look up to or feel inspired by, and we hold them accountable in ways that we don't really have. I don't want to say we don't have a right to, because I think that as public figures, they do have a responsibility to uphold a certain image to some degree. But I think sometimes, and I've said this before, I think sometimes we ask things of them that they never promised us. They never look to do. Beyonce makes music, puts it out, she gets on stage, she dances, she sings. That is her job. Like, that is the job that she does. The same way, you know, your cousin Steve, goes to his job, goes to his job down at the Subway and makes sandwiches. But, like, are you going to tell Steve that he has to hold a fundraiser for the political party? Like, I just feel like sometimes we forget that they're humans. And while I do think that they are public figures, and so they need to be mindful and they need to be responsible of their stance in the world and on global issues and on politics, I also think that why is it their responsibility to raise money for Kamala Harris? It would be nice if they did so. But I don't understand this public outcry of people wanting them to get involved. I want them to get involved with making the music they make. I don't want, like, when I'm looking for advice on politics and when I'm looking for deep and thoughtful and intellectual conversation on politics, I don't go and, seek out Beyonce or Taylor Swift for that. That's just not. I think sometimes our expectations misalign with the people that we're directing it at. I think that there are people who exist in the world to do that and to take on that responsibility. I don't think that your pop stars are the ones. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people feel differently, and a lot of people feel that they do have a responsibility and but I don't know that they do. And is Taylor Swift even a Democrat? Because why they asking for her? Never mind.
Don't know, say.
I would guess probably not.
Well, she has spoke out about certain guy who's the front runner for the other side, so perhaps that's why. I will say this:
Hmm.
um, musicians,
Hmm.
pop stars, singers, rappers, MCs, artists. They are not responsible for political cosigns. They are not responsible to raise money for political candidates. They are not responsible for pushing political agendas or candidates. I think the problem is people become fans of artists and then want things from the artist. The only job the artist has is to provide you with whatever that thing is, right? And so if they are a pop artist, then their job is to provide you with pop music and who knows, maybe some music videos. Maybe, not required. So I'm going to say maybe. It will probably behoove them, but not required. Now, I think the problem is not that people are looking to artists to do this, because there have been throughout history artists who are
Of
specifically
course. Yeah.
going to tell you their political views. Lupe Fiasco spoke about uh, Palestine
Mm-hmm.
and Obama's lack of giving a fuck about what was going on there
Mm-hmm.
many years ago. He has lyrics that say Gaza Strip was getting bombed. Obama didn't say shit.
Mm-hmm.
He later went on to say many things about Obama, the administration, and what's going on in Israel and Palestine. This was years ago, right? Immortal Technique is another MC who we have seen speak about many, 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 many political things going on in a geopolitical sense. In other words, not just in America,
Mm-hmm.
across seas, all over the place. He has spoke about it in music. He spoke about it on social media. He's held press conferences. He's been at protests. He's organized protests. He's done all of these things. And
Yeah.
so it would make sense that that kind of artist you would look to say something. But Beyonce hasn't done those things. Taylor Swift has not done those things. Are they hit makers? Absolutely. Are they
Hitmaker.
arguably two of the most popular artists in the world? Yes. Hey, I heard what you said. That wasn't nice.
It wasn't nice.
They make great music.
I
They
respect
are
that.
super famous, but they are not responsible for political affiliations or sharing their political affiliations.
Girl.
Or either one of them is a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, against voting completely. Not their job to tell us. We don't need to know, nor are they responsible for anything political. In fact, I would argue it would be smarter for them to shut the hell up and not say a damn thing.
That right there, because what I was just about to say is that the moment they become responsible is the moment they start speaking, is the moment they get involved. Because they are not absolved of responsibility at the point where they involve themselves. So if we could use Taylor Swift as an example, if Taylor Swift decides that she wants to get involved in LGBTQIA plus issues, then we're going to hold her accountable for that, right? If
Yes.
Beyonce decides that she wants to get involved in issues regarding Black America, we are going to hold Beyonce accountable for that because they got involved. The moment you involve yourself, the moment you start speaking, the moment you do a fundraiser, or the moment you speak out against something, it's not wrong for you to do it, but your the expectations of you and the responsibility that you have changes. We are now allowed to hold you accountable for that because you got involved and you said, and now you got to be able to back up whatever you said. And as a public figure, that's just the way it works. If you
And I
give us
think, oh,
that,
good.
if you give us that, or if you put it out there as such, then we have a right to have an opinion about how you represent that.
And I think even that has limits.
Of course.
Because if I say, hey man, I'm pro-black and I hate the way that black people are constantly being murdered by the police, I don't have to say that every time. Said
No.
it once. I did whatever I did. I held a press conference, or I went to a protest, or I put out a song. I don't mean every time a police murder happens, I have to do all of those
No.
things. And I think that's another common misconception. So I think even that has limits. And I will say, yes, we do know Obama was someone who was endorsed by Jay-Z and Beyonce. I
Mhm.
don't want to forget that.
Of
But
course.
really, there wasn't a lot said except vote for this guy.
Hmm.
And I thought it was a mistake then too. because Jay-Z is not a political person. He's not somebody who speaks about politics. And so when he did that, I was surprised. And yeah, his wife went with him and held him down. And we know they have a relationship with the Obama family. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't even think that means that every time something happens political, we have to go and look for Beyonce to be involved.
No.
Yes, this is a black woman who's running for president now, but it doesn't mean Beyonce has to get involved. She has a choice. And I think it's wrong for people to look to her for that guidance and for that money. And the last thing I want to say is, in closing, for me, if you got something else, you could go. But for me, for whoever is the candidate that the DNC chooses or co-signs or endorses, whatever, it's my understanding that $91 million was raised. You don't really need a fundraiser. I don't think people realize that. If Kamala Harris is who is chosen, there's $91 million that were given to the Biden-Harris administration campaign fund via donations.
Yeah, she as of today, she has the fastest growing fundraising effort in history.
There you go.
He's raised the most amount of money in one day than anyone has ever raised.
And
So
I will save the rest of my thoughts on that part
for
for the
your
Sexual
podcast.
Selection
Yes.
podcast.
Yes, please do. We are excited to we are excited to hear that. But yeah, I mean, I, I get it. I understand. It's less about the raising of the funds, and when it comes to Beyonce and Taylor Swift, I think it's less about the money they will make and more about the influence and the impact they will have. But that's up to them. That's not. I don't think that's something we can decide for them. And
Right.
historically, like you said, certain music artists, actors, whoever have gotten involved in campaigns before and have done things to fundraise, have done things to get the word out. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see who's going to be at the DNC, because the same way the RNC just happened, and you know, they had celebrities there. I mean, maybe not people that are your favorites, but you know, Amber Rose was there, Hulk Hogan was there. You'll see that at the DNC also. You'll see celebrities who are going to endorse the Democratic Party. So it's like we said, it's not uncommon. But I think it's that person's right, whether they want to or not. Um, we got more on Taylor Swift apparently.
We have more on Taylor Swift. Wow, what a Swifty day. What a Swifty day.
Well, not the
So
good news for her, but
this one is not good news for the Swift. This is not Swift news. And so this is from Entertainment Tonight. Entertainment Tonight says Eminem dethrones Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department following 12 chart-topping weeks. The Real Slim Shady. Oh, sorry, we don't need that part. Eminem has dethroned Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets Department as The Death of Slim Shady officially takes the spot as the #1 album in the country after Taylor Swift's 12-week reign on the charts, blocking her from making another history-making achievement. So Eminem recently dropped not the Real Slim Shady, The Death of Slim Shady. Sorry. Eminem recently dropped The Death of Slim Shady, and it has become #1 album in the country, and it has dethroned Taylor Swift. Sorry, Swifties, but are you surprised? I'm not surprised.
no, I think we all know that Eminem. I would think that people know the reach that Eminem has. I'm not at all surprised at this.
Right.
I'm what I'm surprised at is that it's not as loud as I would think it would be. I just feel like I only
I
saw
don't
it
see a lot of
in
places
waves.
talking about this.
Yeah,
It's not trending on Twitter.
yeah. That's the only thing. But I assume when Eminem drops an album, especially when he's like leaning into some of the old techniques, I would I would absolutely think that it would soar to the top of the charts. I mean, he doesn't need me to listen to it for it to be a
He
number
does not.
one album.
Eminem has plenty of fans, 3 diamond albums, and it's not surprising at all to me that he has gone #1. I know that today Taylor Swift is the number one for certain people. But Eminem still has a huge fan base, and
Yeah.
Slim Shady has a huge fan base, and people were intrigued by the title. So yeah, I don't think this is surprising. I would not be surprised if it sits at number one for a while.
Yeah, I would think so. Unless something comes out and blows it out the water, but I don't think there's anything coming that's gonna do that. I think
Yeah,
everybody can.
because if Taylor Swift already dropped and there's no Drake album coming, I
There's
don't
no
know who.
big album coming right now.
No Beyonce album coming, right? I don't know who. I don't know who dethrones Eminem before 12 weeks is up, but
Now,
we'll
if
see
Bad Bunny
because.
got some heat coming, or The
Right, I'm about to
Weeknd,
say we don't know who else's albums are coming.
right?
You
Because
know,
those
if
two,
right, Bad Bunny and
they're
The
not getting
Weeknd
by the
are
water.
definitely capable of having number one albums in the country. They've done it plenty of times before. And who knows if this Kendrick rumor is true and we get a Kendrick album next month? It's possible.
Wop 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 wop.
I'm gonna do my stuff.
Are you my friend? Are we locked in? And that has been our episode. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, come back tomorrow. We'll be back.
Adios.
Bye.